All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you for gathering here in Meriden. My name is Kevin Scarpati, mayor of the city, and I just want to welcome you all to this project. First, a couple of introductions. There's a number of individuals that are behind me, and I'll allow Commissioner Eucalitto to do those introductions in just a little bit. But locally, we have a team that we're working with locally and with our state delegation. We're joined by members of our delegation here locally. We have Representative Mary Majinski, Representative Michael Quinn, Representative Jack Fazzino, and Senator Jan Hockadell. You can give them a round of applause for all their work. And this has truly been a team effort. This is something that started just about a decade ago when these plans were first announced. Because of all the congestion in this area, it was going to take significant time and significant investment to get us to this point. And so what you're seeing today is really not the start, but the midway point of hitting the ground to this construction project. To all of those that sit in traffic behind us on a daily basis, know that you are not far from alleviating some of those headaches. And hopefully I'm not putting promises in the mouths of individuals when I can say that this is going to be a great return on our investment. This has been a cooperation at not only a local level, but statewide with Governor Lamont and federally with partners in the Biden administration to ensure that this is going to reap the benefits across Connecticut for riders, not just in Meriden, but all throughout the central region. I'm also pleased to say that we are only a couple years away from not just this project, but projects further up 91, 691, Route 15, all those points connecting here in Meriden. We call ourselves the crossroads of Connecticut, centrally located. But what good is it to be the crossroads of Connecticut if those roads are congested on a daily basis? So I'm pleased to say that this is going to benefit Meriden and beyond from an economic development standpoint and relocating viable jobs and businesses here, from a housing perspective so we can continue to invest in affordable housing projects in our city and beyond. It couldn't happen without these great partners, and with that, I want to thank Connecticut DOT, Commissioner Eucalitto, for his efforts in making sure that we've educated our individuals in our city and beyond as to what this is going to mean for all of us. So at this time, I'm going to toss it over to the Commissioner for his remarks and the rest of our delegation. Thank you. Commissioner Eucalitto.
Good morning. Like the mayor said, I'm Garrett Eucalitto, Commissioner of ConnDOT. It's my pleasure to be in Meriden today for this project, the kickoff of the second phase of this project. It's a three-phase project. So most people who drive through Connecticut know the I-91, I-691, Route 15 interchange is one of our worst bottlenecks here in the state. Everyone hates driving through here, including those of us at ConnDOT. I drive through here every single day on my way to and from work, and I can attest how frustrating it is and how dangerous it is at times. Basically, this interchange was constructed in a different era with lower traffic volumes and different type of driving habits. And we can't keep up with the traffic volumes we're seeing today. Single lane ramps cause backups onto the highway, sometimes a mile or more back onto our highways, leading to fender benders and crashes that lead to more delays. So we are finally going to take the effort to untangle this mess of spaghetti and make it work better for everyone. We're going to combine exits, make them multi-lane ramps to eliminate the backups and dangerous weaving. We're going to fix the roadway geometry and fix the sight lines. We're adding auxiliary lanes to ensure cars have time to merge onto the highway, eliminating some of the weaving-induced crashes, which is often one of the largest causes of congestion in Connecticut, is the weaving that we see in between ramps, on ramps and off ramps. We're going to improve the lives of everyone in Connecticut, not just those traveling through this corridor, because studies have shown that congestion on our highways in Connecticut negatively impacts all of Connecticut. Our roads and bridges that are deteriorated or back up lead to more than $6 billion annually statewide in economic cost. That's $2,300 per driver due to higher vehicle operating costs, traffic crashes, and congestion related delays. But at the most basic, crashes have a human impact and an economic impact. A crash can alter a family's life forever. Even if no injuries occur, the financial impact on the household can be significant. And then insurance rates go up for everyone in the state of Connecticut. So we can reduce crashes, we can save lives, we can eliminate congestion, and we can remove financial burdens off of Connecticut households. That's how we can improve lives through investments in transportation like this. There's a lot of work that we're going to do to transform the area behind us here. And thankfully we have great partners to help deliver it, and we're training the next generation of workers through the project labor agreement we have on this project. So all three phases of the project, around $500 million, will be completed by the end of this decade, but it's not possible without the support of our federal and state partners. As the mayor mentioned, about a decade ago, this project was highlighted as something that the state wanted to get done, but it was shelved due to lack of funding. Thankfully, through the support of Governor Lamont and our state legislature, ConnDOT picked up the project, dusted it off, and began to do design through increased investments at the state level. But then, because of the bipartisan infrastructure law, we finally have the funds to build this project and get it completed. The bipartisan infrastructure law through Federal Highway Administration is covering 80% of the costs of this project. So thank you, truly thank you to our congressional delegation that made this law possible to provide the historic levels of funding that will allow us to build projects like this and all across the state. Thank you to Administrator Bhatt and Federal Highway Administration for the ongoing collaboration and support to ensure our projects are successful. And really thank you to Governor Lamont and our state legislature for ensuring that we have the state dollars we need to match those federal funds. The federal government can give us all the money we ask for, but if we don't have those state funds to match, we're not going to get anything built. So as we stand here, we watch these cars going by, just a reminder that progress requires patience, but most importantly, for everyone who's driving every single day, everyone who's watching, slow down, move over, pay attention, and drive sober. So thank you for joining us here today. With that, I'm going to introduce Andrew Honorio from the Connecticut State Building Trades Council to talk about what the building trades are doing here on this project. Andrew?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Andrew Honorio, and I'm the business manager with Laborers Local Union 455 and with the Connecticut and State Building Trades in New Haven County. First off, I would like to thank Governor Ned Lamont, Commissioner Eucalitto, and members of the Connecticut federal delegation, the media, and all of you in attendance today for giving us the opportunity to discuss this project. The big thanks, though, goes to President Biden and the bipartisan team of negotiators that after all these years of reauthorizations and Band-Aids, finally got a real infrastructure bill signed into law. This tri-phased project is funded by the President's infrastructure bill, and as Commissioner Eucalitto mentioned, has a project labor agreement attached. This agreement sets terms and conditions for the project that will ensure the highest quality of work, the greatest standards of safety, and spur a recruitment effort through our registered apprenticeship programs that will help build Connecticut's workforce for tomorrow. For the building trades, this is not about a job here today, but careers for the next generation of construction workers here in Connecticut. People interested from all walks of life will have the opportunity to be recruited into one of the affiliated union crafts through our apprenticeship programs that will lead to a career that comes equipped with living wages, health care, and a pension so people can retire with dignity. These men and women will build the roads and bridges that we will all someday drive on. It is great to be standing here side by side with these fantastic union skilled tradesmen and tradeswomen building this project. Without their dedication to their crafts, jobs like these don't get built to the highest standard of quality. Thank you for all of your hard work. The I-691 Route 15 interchange is a critical corridor that greatly needs improvement. Congestion and crashes are sadly a common occurrence of this transportation network. Originally completed in the 1960s, its design and ability to handle traffic has become outdated. This area is no different than many throughout the state of Connecticut. It is about time that funding has been allocated to alleviate choke points and create safer commutes for our citizens here in Connecticut. This will not only help our local economy, but it ensures, more importantly, that our drivers get home sooner and safer to their families. I'd just like to close by stating that in my 14 years as a representative of the laborers union, I've never seen so much infrastructure work across the state. President Biden and the bipartisan negotiators have not only put us back to work in family-sustaining careers, but have given us the ability to compete with the rest of the world heading into the future. Thank you again to the President and this administration and all of the Connecticut federal and state delegation. God bless America.
So next, as I mentioned, none of this is possible without the bipartisan infrastructure law. And our federal delegation really was it's instrumental in helping get that passed. So it's my honor to introduce Representative Jahana Hayes, who represents this part of the state, as well as many other parts of the 5th District.
Thank you. It's terrific to be here today because we worked really hard on this bipartisan infrastructure law. Connecticut, as you may know, received a grade of C from the American Society of Civil Engineers because our infrastructure was outdated, inadequate, and not keeping up with increases in our population. So for me today, a picture is worth 1,000 words. To my right, you have this sign, the bipartisan infrastructure law that was spearheaded by the Biden-Harris administration, which stopped making Infrastructure Week a tagline or a presser. They made it a law. They put the funding and the investments behind it to make sure that we were addressing the infrastructure projects that had been sitting on shelves for decades and really modernizing our country so that we can compete globally. To my left, jobs. We were intentional. We were intentional when we crafted this legislation to make sure that we included language like project labor agreements, to make sure that we were putting labor back to work, to make sure that the people who live in these communities could also work in these communities. So this is literally everything in one image. Legislation that put people back to work and the actual people who are Connecticut residents who live here who are going to do this work, and that's what we tried to do. So I look forward to all of the projects in our district and across the state. This phase 2 of this project will get about $200 million in federal funding. And I can tell you, we get a lot of blowback in Congress, the Connecticut delegation, because they say we punch above our weight and we're always looking for projects for our state. So I'm always excited to see when those projects come to fruition and we are actually getting the work done. We've heard about what this will do for the economy, for traffic, for businesses, for safety, for all of those things. So this literally is everything that we imagine from this bipartisan infrastructure law in one place, and I'm so excited to have voted for this legislation, and I'll continue to work for projects that will improve the lives of the people in this district and really make sure that the next time we get a report card in the state of Connecticut for our infrastructure, we'll have an A. Thank you. I like A's.
I do want to give a special thanks to the construction industry that is going to make it possible for us to improve our grades, especially ONG is out here doing this project for us. As a Torrington boy, I grew up with the name ONG everywhere in Torrington, so the hard hats look very familiar, and so do the trucks. Next, it truly is an honor to introduce our next speaker. There's no greater supporter and friend in Washington, D.C. in the U.S. DOT building than our next speaker, who is Federal Highway Administration Administrator Shailen Bhatt.
Well, look, it's an honor to be here. Thank you, Governor, Lieutenant Governor, members of Congress that are here. One, I just love seeing all the safety vests that are out here. Obviously, safety is our #1 priority. Safety is the genesis of this project, and I think I'd be remiss if I did not recognize Trooper Pelletier, who gave his life for the state of Connecticut, I think just last week. It's a sober reminder for all of us that these are dangerous places to work, and I would just really appreciate and want to thank all the men and women who will build this project, and we always want to make sure that safety is top of mind for us. I think one of the reasons I am such a huge supporter of infrastructure is because I've been a state DOT secretary in Delaware, in Colorado, and in Kentucky. I was a deputy, and in every one of those states, everybody had their least favorite stretch of highway. And it sounds like we're in the most hated highway section, or just one of them. Thank you. We'll get to the other ones. Yeah. But, you know, for all of my time in transportation, leading state DOTs, it's been about if only, right? If only we had the funding, we could go and get that project done. Well, thanks to the bipartisan infrastructure law, the leadership of President Biden, the help of Congress, and Congresswoman, I appreciate you saying that you supported it and you voted for it. I go to lots of these events around the country, and even people who didn't vote for it are showing up to be like, what a great project. So I appreciate your leadership and support. But, you know, at the end of the day, it is a bipartisan infrastructure law. That means Republicans and Democrats voted for it because Republicans and Democrats are going to drive through this interchange. They're going to benefit from the safety, and it's the economy of the country that gets better when we reduce bottlenecks. And, you know, I did meet up with Commissioner Eucalitto yesterday. He's actually the vice president of AASHTO. I think he'll be the president of AASHTO next year, which is all of the state DOTs. He's a great leader for it. But I've worked for 3 governors, so I said, what is this governor? Is he a transportation governor? Because not every one of my governors was. He's like, absolutely, he's a transportation governor. He cares about, a few things in my world. He cares about faster trains, getting those trains to run on time, and he cares about getting rid of bottlenecks. And so for me, it's great that we're able to provide federal support for a critical infrastructure component that's going to meet the governor's needs, that's going to meet the needs of the people of Connecticut. It is going to take a few years, so we do want patience from people there. But I also want to close by thanking the men and women who are going to build this project. I think you're the ones who truly are the heroes. Thank you for your service. And I don't know if I'll still be the Federal Highway Administrator in 10 years, but if I'm not, I'll still come back and celebrate the ribbon cutting. Thank you very much, and turn it back to the Commissioner.
Next, we have one of our biggest champions who always is supportive of the work we do, as well as all the workers who are out there every single day, Lieutenant Governor Susan Bysiewicz.
Well, thank you, Commissioner, and good morning, everyone. This project is so very important. We are not at the height of rush hour. If we were, either in the morning or in the evening, you would just look right here and see cars stop dead. And I know that because I live in Middletown and I am constantly driving this stretch of road, which is one of our biggest choke points, one of our biggest congestion points. So today is a beautiful and exciting day to celebrate the fact that soon this stretch of road is going to be safer for the people who drive on it. Congestion is going to be eased, and our economy is going to benefit from it. It's also going to create jobs, and it's very exciting to see all of our men and women in the construction trades. And I just want to give a shout out because it's very exciting to see all the women who are in the building trades who are wearing hard hats. And ladies, just raise your hand because I want everyone to see you. It's very exciting. And by the way, if you know anyone who wants a great career, just check out the Building Trades Apprentice Program. This is also a project that recognizes the importance of quality work, work that will last, work that is safe, and that is because this is a project labor agreement. The governor, President Biden, and our administration is so supportive of PLAs because work gets done well. It gets done on budget and on time, if not even earlier and under budget. So thank you to the construction trades. And I also want to say thank you to our amazing federal delegation that has advocated so strongly for us in Washington and has brought us billions of dollars of infrastructure money and all kinds of federal funding to help our schools. So Congresswoman Hayes, thank you so much. Senator Blumenthal, Senator Murphy, all the members of our amazing delegation, we really appreciate it. And we appreciate the vision and the fortitude of President Biden, who saw that our country needed to update our highways and our transportation systems. We haven't had this level of federal infrastructure money come to our state and to our country in several generations. So thank you to the Biden administration, and thank you to everyone, our local, state, and federal partners, and our amazing labor partners for making this happen. And now it's my great pleasure to introduce our fearless leader of Connecticut, Governor Ned Lamont.
All right, thanks, Susan. Good morning, everybody. It's a pretty sunny day in Connecticut. Dan Hurley's sticking. And we're here because we want to make sure you don't get stuck in traffic. That was a segue. In one of the busiest intersections, in this greater region. And so I work with Garrett Eucalitto, and he explains, I used to think, oh my God, we have too many cars, not enough lanes, we got to double capacity and build, and then Garrett has showed me that, look, we got 10, 12 choke points, places where the exit ramps are too small, the exit-only lanes are too short. And that's what we're trying to do right here, 691 and 91 and 15. What we can do in terms of get a 2-lane exit and a longer exit-only lane, how we can speed up traffic, reduce that congestion, get you home 15 minutes faster, reduce the number of crashes, intersections like this with congestion and fender benders, as you heard Garrett say, does drive up some of the accidents and drives up insurance rates. What we're trying to make a difference there. It's a big project that goes on for a long time. We've got to redo these bridges as part of the project as well. And as you heard, we, the state, has to put up, say, 15% on a project like this. So I want to really thank our legislative partners. There's some money in our transportation fund. It wasn't there some years ago. It is there now. It burns a hole in the pocket. It means we get to the front of the line, showing that we can put up our 15% and be able to make a difference. I want to be able to thank, in particular, Jahana Hayes and our delegation. This is really important. Everybody's been talking about infrastructure, long speeches. What I'm seeing here is actually, these aren't speeches. These are folks getting it done. And finally, you're the guys getting it done. I want to say from the bottom of my heart what you mean to this state. These are good jobs. These are union jobs. This is project labor agreement. Let me tell you what that means. That means these are Connecticut jobs for Connecticut people, good paying jobs. And by the way, apprentice program, I saw some of the apprentices over there, making sure we have the next generation of folks coming along as well. I want to give a shout out to my friend Mark Boughton over there. He's our infrastructure czar. As a former mayor, knows everything that we're going through to make this a state where everybody wants to stick, just like Dan Hurley. Thanks, everybody.
That's a big hit. Any questions? Let me talk about just this phase. So about $200 million in federal funds and about $50 million in state funds for this second phase of the project. The first phase of the project was about $85 million. It was fully state funded. And then we got the bipartisan infrastructure law that allowed us to help offset those state funds.
Legislative leaders wanted to pay off much of the STF fund. Could some of that money been used for this project instead of paying off so much of that?
Yeah, so, I don't know, Governor, if you want to talk about that, but that was an effort I really was very in support of. It essentially by using those funds to pay down old debt, it's extended the longevity of our special transportation fund for several more years, allowing us to, deal with issues that we're going to see towards the end of this decade, that the whole country is going to see towards the end of the decade with how to pay for transportation. Paying down those old debts now is going to save us a lot of money in annual debt payments in this decade.
To the governor's point, it demonstrates that we can match that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Time frame for all of this?
So this phase should be completed by 2028, and then the final phase will be done by 2030.
It's no surprise that the Connecticut Construction Industry Association would like to see you spending more money and spending more money faster. Some of us got some material from them raising concerns about just the last question here about using the money to pay down debt, and had a chance to talk to Commissioner Bhatt a little bit before this. You guys are doing more pay as you go, correct? Is that it?
We're not doing that much. So the question was, concerns about using the money to pay down debt instead of investing the money in projects now as pay as you go. I mean, so we have a constitutional spending cap, right? And so if we were to shift a lot of our projects onto drawing down from the STF to pay as we go instead of using bonding, it would impact the total allowance of what we're allowed to spend under the state budget, and it would crowd out other needs. I'm just putting on my old budget hat. Paying off our old debts is going to have a much bigger impact in the short term when the STF is at risk of running into a deficiency due to more reduction in use of gasoline.
You have crews and manpower, everybody's ready?
Yeah, O&G and the operating engineers, everyone is ready to go.
What about the other end of 691? Because there is a backup on 84 West when you're trying to go this way. Are there any plans for that interchange?
It's being looked at. So that one is not yet in design, but that one is not as large an impact on congestion and delays. And we did have a long period of time where we were doing work on 691, as you probably saw. The resurfacing project had to fix the subsurface there. So hopefully now that is near completed, it will eliminate some of those backups.
Excuse me, the Connecticut construction industry has complained previously that we haven't been taking advantage of federal infrastructure money. Why have there been those delays in getting projects ready? And you point to some projects that are in progress now, have maybe an earlier date.
Yeah, I mean, so I disagree with that. So we've never left any federal funds on the table. We've spent every federal dollar we get. And I think if you drive around, people are getting frustrated about how much construction we have going on. So this project is underway. You go down to East Lyme, there's a major project there. We have major bridge projects, the Haddam Swing Bridge. You go down to Norwalk and Westport has I-95. Gold Star Bridge is a multi-year major project. Resurfacing projects all over the state. So, and the Mixmaster is wrapping up this year. So folks from Waterbury will be happy about that. But so we have every corner of the state has projects, major projects underway. So.
How many men and women will be employed throughout the construction of this project?
I will have to get that. How many people will be employed? I'll have to get you after this.
And then how long did phase one take to construct?
Phase one's still underway. It should be wrapping up in about a year and a half.
Are people going to have to be through this process? You mentioned it's a big project. You're going to have to work on bridges. Sounds like a headache. No?
Yeah. Look, patience. People are going to need to be patient going through work zones. There's a long-term benefit to these projects. So we just really ask people to slow down, move over. It is a very dangerous job being out there on the side of the road. So we need people to be patient and slow down and look up and put their phones away.
Commissioner, can you talk about the dedicated website that updates this project that people can look for on?
Yeah, so we do have a website. It's a very long website. I'm going to mess it up, but there is a link on our website. It's like I-91, I-691, Route 15, Interchange.com, or I apologize, I don't have. We should have done a shorter website, but yeah, Google it, it'll come up. But you can, it pushes out weekly alerts to people about what is going on with the project. So anyone who goes through here can get a weekly alert about what the impact is going to be on their commuting pattern and any disruptions. Yeah, shovels. Wait, we're going to do shovels quick, and then, yeah.
There's a couple extra shovels over there too.
All right, so we're going to count us down. Okay, ready? 3, 2, 1.